So this month we asked the community, what are your thoughts about the electric mandolin? And me and Hayes are going to give our ideas around this. And I think we're going to even address the question, should you play the electric? Here we go.
Hey there, music makers. I'm Hayes Griffin.
I'm Magnus Zetterlund.
And welcome to the Mandolin Secrets podcast, a show where we take a deeper look at what's happening in the world of mandolin secrets. Each episode will tackle our questions of the week, unpack the latest mandolin secrets and guitar club lessons, and answer your questions about mandolin, guitar, and all things music. In this month's episode, we are talking about what are your thoughts about the electric mandolin? And we'll also be looking at another mandolin scale shape that you should probably check out if you're a mandolin player. There are a couple other things here too, Magnus, right? We've got, what is the most stupid comment you've got when playing... Wait, let me say that again. What is the most stupid comment you got when you said you play the mandolin? That's kind of a... Yeah. I can't wait to dive into that one.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
But before we dive into the discussion about all those topics, be sure to head to mandolinsecrets.com/podcast to sign up for reminders about our upcoming episodes. And just search Mandolin Secrets Podcast on your favorite podcast platform to subscribe and get updates there.
Perfect. Yeah. And I mean, also for anyone that is listening to this podcast episode, I can tell you that there's a video version inside Mandolin Secrets Academy. And if you are watching this video, you are now seeing that me and Hayes are showcasing our electric mandolins. You first, Hayes, what you got there?
Yeah, so I won't spoil your story too much, but I believe these electric mandolins have one really cool thing in common. Yes, in that they were both built by the guys holding them, right?
Yeah.
So this is one that I built with my friend Jacob Hawkins, a friend of the podcast and the community here. But we built this mandolin back, man, it must have been around 2014 or something like that, 13 or 14. Wow. I had just discovered the mandolin playing of Tiny Moore, and I knew I needed a 5-string electric mandolin to accomplish that sound. So we took a Telecaster body plan, scaled it down, cut it out on his CNC machine, and then got to work.
Just cool. It off. Like got a really nice sunburst color.
Yeah.
And also I'm seeing the mandolin now. So for people that are not seeing it, it also has the neck is quite interesting because it has this fretboard that is, what do you call it, fan fretted.
Yeah, fan frets. Some people are starting to call it, variable scale length instrument because of the low. The low string has a longer scale length. If you're looking at the video version, you can see that the saddle's all the way back and then the nuts shoved forward. So the low strings have a longer scale length than the higher ones.
I remember playing that specific instrument, 2 years ago when I visited you. And at that point, I think you have sanded down the neck. You were reshaping the neck and had a quite rough finish at that point. What is it like? Have you polished it down? And now it's like that.
Yeah, I actually I used really fine sandpaper. I think I went through with like 2000 grit, after and that kind of thing, and got it really smooth. And I haven't put any finish back onto it yet. I think I like it the way it is.
Yeah, do I remember it wrong, or at that point when I actually played it? Was it even rougher at that point? Was that before you sanding it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely rough at that, because we were still, I think at that point, we were unsure if we were going to take any more material out of the neck when we
So now it's got a good, nice V shape there.
Yeah, for anyone watching, you can definitely see, when I hold it to the light,
Yeah. And I mean, I have a pretty clear idea what you will what your response to it, but still asking you, what are your thoughts about the electric mandolin?
Oh man.
Is it a usable thing, or is it just a gimmick, or what is it?
I love that like loaded question, right? Because I think a lot of people think it is a gimmick. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people see Sam Bush play electric mandolin on one track at his shows or something like that, and they think it's a gimmicky thing. But I think Magnus obviously knows that I love this instrument, and in fact, I would consider myself maybe like in some ways more of an electric mandolin focused player than the acoustic mandolin, because Tiny Moore was the one that kind of fired me up about the instrument and was the inspiration for me to really just start taking it seriously. I played mandolin before Tiny Moore, but Tiny Moore was the one that was like, I need to do this, you know?
Yeah, well, I know you play. I know you play the mandolin exceptionally well, but I also can say that I haven't heard many people at all play the electric mandolin at such a high level as you are doing it. So,
thanks,
man. I mean, you're really. I'm hearing you that you are like an electric mandolin player, even in that way, because you're making exceptional things on that one.
Thanks,
and
man.
now you have a couple of them, right?
Yeah, I do have a couple of mandolins. This is the one that I built with Jacob, and I've actually got another one on the way right now. I have a 4-string from Bell Muse, but I've got a 5-string, a new 5-string that Bell Muse is going to send my way of the signature model that I have with them, the HGTM5. So
you got a new one of them, but you have one of them as well, right?
So I sold that mandolin to someone. Okay. There was I was at a camp. You'll love this. And Chris and I at Bell Muse kind of had this relationship already. I was like, you send me this mandolin, and if somebody likes it, I might sell it to him. And he's like, cool, we'll just send you a new one whenever that happens. So I played this at Ashokan Western and Swing Week last year, and one of the students at camp was like, oh, I have to have one of those mandolins. Is there a way that I could I, get in touch with Bell Muse? And I was like, well, what do you think about this one? So the guy tried it out and he loved it, and I sent him home with it. So
cool. So so you have another one and the same. Is it did you tweak anything, or is it like, yes?
We actually have been making some modifications to it. He's putting on the back of the neck like a volute, you know what I mean? Like a Martin guitar, like a D28 would have that little kind of extra piece of wood right back here, just to strengthen the neck a little bit.
It's like one of the weak spots on a instrument. Right?
Yeah, we've never had one break, but Chris was just like, it couldn't hurt to put that there, for the future. So just some small things like that, but
cool.
But yeah, that's kind of it. I've got 3 electric mandolins in my possession, which is probably more than most people that play the mandolin, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm now also checking the community when we ask them, like, and this is an answer from Dale. What are your thoughts about the electric? And Dale says, I'm interested in traditional music, and electric instruments have no role in those. I probably will never have one. So right there, it's also like, that's his take on it. And Helen also, I've heard electric mandolin beautiful by jazz artists, but it's again like, well, I've seen it, but no, not for me. Sort of.
Not for me, right?
And, Jane, on the other hand, says, I have an electric mandolin in the collection that I purchased when I was temporarily renting a flat. I was useful as I could practice with headphones and not disturb the neighbors. That's also really used cool for the electric. But still, I think used that way, it's almost... it's still almost like we're not considering it a real instrument. It's
Exactly.
like
It's
a practice tool.
instrument. Yeah, exactly.
So, and I'm not at all like trying to make fun of the comments or anything, but I just think it's quite widespread thought among like in our communities among mandolin players, and I think the fact it's almost sounds like an electric guitar played at 12th fret.
Yes.
It's almost like that sound, and so not as like distinctive as a mandolin. Mandolin is played electric, and
I won't open this up for debate right now, but there are even some people in the community that don't consider this an electric mandolin because it has single strings. Some folks are like, it has to be an 8-string electric instrument, to have that jangly kind of sound, or otherwise it's not electric mandolin.
I love that we're having this discussion, because we're going to go deep in that in a minute. But I recently put out a video on when playing my electric mandolin, and people were like, the comments were that is not an electric mandolin. It's like an electric ukulele or something. I mean, yeah. So as long when it is like 4-stringed, but it's but the thing is, my experience with putting a magnetic pickup to a mandolin is it doesn't sound really very good. But with the single strings, it sounds good.
Agreed. I am so with you. Yeah.
And it's I recently, my Phoenix Jazz mandolin got a magnetic pickup. At the moment, I put the single strings back to it again. Because of this, I played it amplified, and I even there's in this scale length, it doesn't really work with a magnetic pickup to me.
I'm with you. There's something about the doubling of the strings, like I feel like acoustically I can handle some of the variance in intonation that might happen with like 2 strings tuned the same, but it's like the magnetic pickup like almost like highlights the differences between the strings. They could be exactly in tune and something still sounds off about those 2 strings together, with a magnetic pickup.
Without knowing too much about this, I don't think it's even like an taste or something. There's also, I guess there is something what do you call mechanically or like electronically wise within the electricity in the made from the poles vibrating or the strings vibrating in the I mean how the signals is created. I think that those 2 strings just above it's like it's confusing for the microphone or something.
It interferes with one another. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Because it's remarkable how when I'm recording that with the double strings, and when I'm taking one of the strings away, it's so the volume of the signal increases like significantly.
Yeah.
So I think there is something, and it's sort of like the tone comes alive. So and to make.
But you're not playing a mandolin anymore, Magnus.
I'm
the
not.
Tone comes alive, but you're not playing a mandolin anymore.
And I've been this been keeping me awake at nights for the last months, because you've been hearing Well, I make a little detour around it because you know that I've been all into this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've been so obsessed by slide playing on the mandolin for the last months. Well, and if anyone hasn't heard it, I can just show you a little bit what it's about.
Yeah.
So I'm really fascinated for how well it suits the electric mandolin. It doesn't work that well on the acoustic, and it's that's also I've been using my jazz, like playing the slide on the double string, but putting on the single string back and forth, trying and both amplified. The amplified signal is better single stringed.
Yes.
The slide playing is better single stringed.
I can see that for sure.
And you can now that I play this, I'm in the lower register here. I can move up. What I'm trying to do here. Well, let's say I'm still playing. I can even go one octave up, you know. It's almost like it's like the notes heard by babies and dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a little like, and actually, you and me had the discussion even before slide playing came into place, because I was really attracted by getting an electric octave mandolin.
Yeah.
Some people in the community play octaves, and I just thought, well, sounds really cool, and I want to try it. And you know how much I love playing the octave mandolin, and why not try to combine the two? So for 6 months or so, I've been like planning to get an electric octave mandolin. But I haven't been sure. Should I go for the 8 string? Should I go for the 4 string? Back and forth, back and forth. And this is, I tell you what, I decided to go for the 4 string, and I have ordered one.
Oh, dude, a man of action. I love it.
Yes. So I think it's going to work. Well, it's going to be so interesting to try the slide playing on that one, because now also I'm jumping a little bit back and forth between the guitar, the mandolin, and the 2 different tunings and all that. So with the electric octave mandolin, I will sort of be in the register of an electric guitar, but with the octave mandolin tuning.
Yeah, man. And I was just gonna say, I don't know how you feel about it, but the 4ths and the 5ths that you're able to like get with the slide on I feel like that's the sound you want, you know what I mean? So like the tuning might even just be like better for slide playing and stuff like that. Yeah, that's really cool.
The approach that I'm going for is pretty much like single string.
Yeah.
So not too much of the.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna work it in there also, of course.
Put them in there, baby. I think they sound great.
Yeah. But so you know this guy Jonathan Mann who builds the Mandolins. Jonathan spelled with Mann, his last name. So he makes like the ones that I find online is either Bellemews in UK or Mandolins. So I ordered a 4-string solid body electric from him.
Yeah.
I was for a long time leaning towards the Northfield. They have an 8-string, but then I there was a few things in their construction that I wasn't that fond of. First of all, it's sort of like it's not a solid body, and I think for slide guitar and the things that I want sustain. And also the fact that you couldn't adjust their bridge individually.
Yeah,
That's because I'm most often I'm very picky with intonation and things. So why don't include well, even the well, talking about bass guitars. I mean, even from the 60s have in like adjustable bridges. So
we figured this out pretty early on in electric instrument technology, right? You know,
we did, yeah. So I wonder why is that? So that also means it would be very difficult to make the turn it into a 4-string.
Yeah,
because the bridge construction is we can always like modify the tuners and the headstock. But if I'm ordering an 8-string and want to make it and that would be very difficult with a Northfield. So so that is well. So I have in probably August, September. This instrument is ready for me. Maybe even earlier, but
so fun, man.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the pictures on his website now. These are you're gonna have an awesome mandolin.
I think so. And he's making like a long scale to me, 4-string, because the normal ones are a little bit shorter. Because I think it's for the 5-string octave that have an high, like a high B string on top there, rather than an
a lower, yeah. And
but
I'm looking at the models. He has OEM and OSEM and Raptor and stuff like this. Do you know what you're going for there?
I'm going for the OEM.
Cool.
Or OE, yes. But and we have he sent me some videos back and forth, and I found a really like with like small humbuckers. Like also it's two pickup style.
Great.
So it's gonna be really fun, like a solid body, and I think it's gonna be so much fun. So this is my what I want to drop you here now. This instrument has to return to Sweden in August or September. So either I come to the States to pick it up, or maybe you want a trip to Sweden and I buy your tickets and you bring this instrument and we'll figure
delivery.
this out.
Yeah, I think we have to figure this one out.
Think about it. I imagine the flight costs as much as in shipping. I haven't
probably so.
So we'll
this is exciting.
This.
Yeah.
Yes, it's exciting. So I so last episode we're talking about my bass guitar purchase, and this one is so I don't know really what's happening at the moment, but the studio is growing more.
With all these solid body electric instruments, something's happening over at Mandolin Secrets, man. You know,
Yes.
there's like a new era.
Yes, yeah.
That's
and
fun.
But finally, I have good use for this one also because of my slide playing right now. It's like it's I built this one in 2005, so I had it for 20 years, but I played it more the last month or two than I played for the entire 20-year period.
That's fun, man.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, that'll be cool once you get the new one, because that honestly inspire some new kind of sounds, right? Like you have an electric octave plus your electric, you know, 4-string. That could be, that could be pretty cool.
Yes, absolutely. It's gonna be really cool. We are about to wrap this up. What was the last thing, the little subject with it? Well, Hayes, can you quickly give us the other mandolin scale?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first, everyone out there, just go to my YouTube channel and watch the lesson. We just released a lesson on my YouTube channel with Marcel, our dance of Lessons with Marcel. And the other mandolin scale that you need to know, you know what? I'll give you guys a hint. It's based around this chord shape. And if you're not watching the video podcast, that is a C chop chord on the mandolin. We kind of did a deep dive about a year ago on a scale shape that's pretty common that Magnus refers to as box 1. But in this lesson, we kind of focus more on box 3, which is the scale shape built around a chop chord shape. Gets you more of those Bill Monroe kind of sounds, right, Magnus?
Yeah.
Maybe if you're leaning into some of that. So yeah, if you're watching and listening to the podcast, I will play it once. There it is. Go learn it.
Perfect. Yeah. I love it.
But yeah, we had a great time talking about it, and we connected a lot of dots in terms of how to like add this into your playing with a simple 1-4-5 chord progression and stuff. So I think if you're interested in improvised solos on the mandolin, you'll get a lot out of that lesson. So go check it out, folks.
Perfect. I just agree that it's a scale shape we got to get down.
Gotta have it.
So to finish things off, we asked the community, what is the most stupid comment you got when you said you play the mandolin? A couple of ones here, but this is from Jens. How much was it and where did you buy your ukulele? Yeah. And Dale
That's
also.
great.
Dale, is it like a ukulele? And so people are confusing it. Yeah. Also,
this is my
one.
favorite one.
Why are you playing that thing? Couldn't you just play the guitar? That's from Helen.
That's kind of related to the electric mandolin type of comments, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
And on the ukulele theme, this is what Chris was asked. Can you play When I'm Cleaning Windows? And it relates to this British song by George Formby that was famous in the 30s and 40s for playing the ukulele, singing like comic songs. And so, yeah, that's a few. But a lot of
my favorite
ukulele.
one. I used to hear this one a couple times being at bluegrass gigs. Like I played guitar in most of my bands, so usually this was my buddy like Mitchell or Jacob. They'd be standing there with their mandolin, F style, and someone come up to him after the show and be like, "Oh, I love bluegrass music so much. I'm such a huge fan of bluegrass music. What instrument is that you play?"
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Oh,
now we know your knowledge of this music.
Yeah, exactly. So that's always
so everything you're saying about the music after that comment, we'll ignore it. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. What is that instrument?
Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Hayes, for the conversation today. And a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good time, man.
Yeah. We keep in touch, and we'll see if 2025 opens an autumn window for us to meet or not. But
I think that's
I think the
pretty
instrument
awesome.
might help us that way.
Yeah. Grease the tracks, as they say. Awesome, man.
Awesome.
Well, that probably about wraps it up for today then, huh?
I think so. Absolutely.
Great, man. Well, folks out there, be sure to head to mandolinsecrets.com/podcast to stay up to date, especially now that Magnus has all these electric instruments coming his way. You'll definitely want to keep in touch with that saga. You got anything else for us, man?
Isn't that interesting? Because I feel there's an electric revival happening at Skisvägen in Falun at the moment in my world. And I know there's been an electric revival at your end also. You were before me even. So while I'm kind of returning to my, blues guitar attempts as a teenager, I know you are all back into your metal shredding kind of thing. So, it's just
we see where this leads us.
We'll see where this leads us. All right, my friends, thank you so much for listening, and always remember, be a music maker.